Hello, welcome back to my channel. It is Saturday. It is the last Saturday of January before it's February, and I'm really ramping up my swimsuit production that we've done all winter long, and we really need to bite the bullet on getting these suits done before our season starts. So we're actually starting in February to do vendor events and vendor booths, but they're just little local ones. One is a country one with line dancing, and then the second one is at a wedding venue, which is called the Elm Estate, and they do a bunch of events there as well. The other one is at a salon. So those are little ones. And then in March, we did have one planned. They told us they didn't have space for us. So now we pushed it back to April, which is okay. Honestly, it's okay. We have till April now to get all of our season swimsuits made, and we have a lot already, but I just started on the 4th of July stuff. So we don't have any 4th of July suits made except for like a few that we have left over from last year, which is not enough for our industry because we do festivals for country festivals and rodeos, and so we definitely need some patriotic 4th of July swimsuits. So that's what I'm working on. And then I'm also working on what is it called? Trending. I'm working on trending swimwear. So what's trending right now is checker print. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a racer. I'm not into, I don't know, dirt biking. Kind of reminds me of Monster Energy Girl type of vibe. But I do like it because it reminds me of the 80s and 90s. So I love it. It's plain, it's black and white, it's just chill. It's easy to work with. The fabric I did purchase, I wasn't super happy with it. The black looks like it's kind of bleeding into the white. You can see that on the camera. And I already bought yards of it, so I'm gonna use it and see how it sells first, and then if it does well, we'll do another one and I'm going to switch out the fabric. I also bought mesh, sheer mesh, so we can do our sheer mesh tops. And then I'm also thinking about doing like a sheer mesh skirt or a sheer mesh like cover up on the top. This is my inspo pick. I love that style. I just don't really want to make the top because I think a skirt would be cuter, but then I was like, maybe both. But I don't think I have enough fabric for this round to do that. Maybe for myself, but I'm going to take a few minutes to decide what I'm going to do with the sheer mesh besides sheer mesh triangle tops or sheer fun tops. If I want to do skirts or cover up or what, I don't know. So yeah, here's buckets of my 4th of July. This is just the sheer mesh tops. I think there's 2 tops, so 8 because it's ABCD size. Went through those so fast last year, which is exciting and phenomenal. And then I ordered a bunch of new 4th of July fabrics and prints, and those will come in next week. Be the 1st of February. We've already done our Valentine's launch. I was early on that. We launched that first week of January. Got a few orders, but I don't think Valentine's Day ever is that good because it's January and February and people aren't really wearing much swimwear yet, at least in my demographic where I'm selling. And that's why I want to expand throughout the country so we can get sales all of the months, not just summer months. So I'm gonna put my phone up and then have you guys watch me. with this pattern, I am doing a narrow triangle top. So it is going to be more narrow in the width of the boob, and it's going to be a lot taller, so in the height of the triangle. And that's just to give it, I don't know what you would really call it. I would say sexy, but narrow does not work for everybody. A lot of these narrow tops you will fall out of if you're too heavy, like naturally, because they just spill out of the sides of the narrow top. But it's super cute. I have implants, and so it happens to fit really well. And then I just thought it kind of gave it that rock and roll sexy vibe with the narrow. You can see here. And so I wouldn't technically size down when you're purchasing this top. You want to still purchase your size. Or you would go with the option that's just a regular triangle top, which we did make in our sheer mesh as well. And the bottoms I did for these were just our belly bottom. They usually have the same front cut as the back cut. I wanted to make this a V taper for the bottoms. So it's going to V taper in the front and the back. And that is kind of the style right now. It's very retro, like it has a V cut in the front and back and gives you that V taper on your waist, like hourglass look. It elongates your legs because it sits up higher on your hips. And then it's going to have tie sides, and I'm going to mix up the colors a little bit. My pattern here did not have the V taper, so I had to go in and adjust my pattern. It was just a U shape, which is our normal belly bottom is a U shape. We have a few different variations on our belly bottoms, but the belly bottoms traditionally just tie on the hips, and they're the same front cut as the back cut, and they're super cheeky. So I got my tiny little pattern here, and I fold my fabric in half. So this pattern is also cut in half, and that is so I can make sure that both the right side and the left side match up. If my pattern was a full piece, then sometimes it doesn't get symmetrical on either side. So I line it up where the fold would be on the pattern, and I cut around it. I do leave a little bit of a seam allowance. I never used to, but when I got my new serger, I switched from 3-thread to a 4-thread, and then my black one is a 5-thread overlock. So the seam allowance on that is a little bit wider. So I started adding that in, which is kind of a pain in the butt to know if you're going to use which machine you're going to use. Now I will be cutting the straps right here, and I usually fold my fabric in half. So this is going to be 60 inches, and for this particular design I have certain measurements out. What I like to do, I know everybody has a different way of doing it. Oh, let me show you this. This is a very nice rotary cutter, and what sucks about it is it only goes up, I think, to like 55 inches, And so when I do use it, it doesn't get the whole length of the strip of straps that I need. So I have to do this. I have to go double. I have to move it, which then it doesn't quite line up and it kind of sticks right there. And at that point, I just as well cut them myself. So I don't really use that. What I do use that for is when I'm making binding strips or the strips that I'm going to be adding as my piping to the edge of the sheer mesh tops. But we've decided not to do that as of right now. So we just make a strap, reverse it inside out, and then we stitch it onto our mesh tops. Is how we do that. And this is how I make my straps. I start on one end of my fabric. I usually buy 5 yards at a time. I don't have storage for larger yardage, and I cut my straps on one edge of the fabric, letting it always be a straight edge. So it's always going to be a straight edge on one end of the fabric. The other fabric is I flip it over and I start cutting all my patterns. If I've already cut patterns, I think for this one, I haven't cut either end. So that means both ends are still straight across. Probably why I didn't flip it here. I pin these together. I also noticed I love the pins with the balls on the tips. They have that big round ball. They're easier to grip, especially with my nails. And I've never used them before. We just got them a few months ago. And I was like, these make a world of difference. I could just pick them up so much easier. I've been using just some flat, normal pins. I don't know what they're called. I'm going to start sewing the elastic all around the entire suit. They look so good. Let's reverse them and then try them on. Yay! There's so many variations with this top, so I'm going to show you a little clip here of the variations of the top.
It's been a minute since I've finished this video on the checkered print bikini. So I'm in my new space. This is upstairs on top of my office, and I'm going to be filming the try-on in this space. So this is my gorgeous mirror. It's taller than me, which is perfect because then I actually look smaller than, like, I hate when I buy a mirror and I'm taller than it and wider than it, and I can't even fit in the frame. So I did spend a small fortune on this mirror, but that's all worth it in the end. So let's try this checkered bikini. All right. So this is the narrow triangle top, and I'm wearing it with the belly bottoms, which are a tie hip, adjustable tie hip. So they are pretty low. This particular style of the belly bottoms is a V-cut in the front and in the back. So what that means is it's going to be a little bit lower, and it's going to give you that V taper here. I am wearing a large, so I could probably go up a size on the bottoms so it comes up a little bit higher, not so low. I think at my age and someone else that's a little bit more conservative would not want it that low. So anyway, this is how it looks on, and this top did not fit very well on a large busted natural woman. She fell out on either side and just didn't stay in very well. So I can tell you that this is gonna fit somebody under a D cup, probably with implants, under a C cup if you're natural, and the bottoms really fit anybody because they're adjustable side hips. So it comes down to what coverage you want. And if you want a larger coverage, get a larger size. If you want more coverage, I meant, get a larger size because you can always tie those hips. And that is the biggest tip. You don't always have to get your size. If you want smaller coverage on top, get a smaller size, especially if all of the areas tie. You can adjust it. You can adjust it. That is why you will find me in smaller bikinis. Let's reverse it and see what it looks like. All right, here it is reversed. I tightened the hips so they could be pulled up. It wasn't as tight as it could have been when I had it the other way around. So now they fit really good, really nice and tight and snug. And they actually look like they have a U shape instead of that V because I pulled it so tight. And I love the black. Now, a lot of people hate that you can see the printed side through. I think it's unique. It kind of looks like a binding. I think it's cute. This one keeps flipping more because I have the tag. You can see like the tag is tucked under there. And it's really being a pain in my ass right now. So this is a reversible side. And it's simple. And although this one strap is white, I still think it can work for a simple black bikini. And it's so fun. I know checkers are in. I usually don't go with like too fad of whatever's in style because I'm a designer. I designed my own and I just didn't want to, but I love the black and white checkers and I love that black and white can go with anything. And it just seemed like my era from the 80s and 90s. I was born 1986, so I actually grew up during the 90s. And it's so fun. It reminds me of dirt biking and BMXing. So that is it. Thank you for watching my try on. Next, you'll be able to see my new space and you'll be able to see my tour. And it is so fun. Yay! Yay to more YouTube videos.